Coming up on this episode of DL Weekly, a lot of updates to the resort, including fixing a popular missing effect. Madame Leota was almost swept away to somewhere beyond.
After Dark Nights still have tickets, a pop-up mini-golf experience is coming, a new treat at a smaller eatery. We talk about Disney's 2 private islands and more. DL Weekly starts now.
Well, hello there. Welcome to our unbirthday party. For your safety, please be sure to stay listening with your hands, arms, feet, and ears inside the podcast. And please, do give Tag and Teresa easier trivia questions. Well, it seems DL Weekly is about to begin. Have a most wonderful time. Perhaps tea time.
Hello and welcome to this episode of DL Weekly for the week of February 5th, 2025. I'm Tag Bushman.
And I'm Teresa Urban. We would like to thank everyone who supports the show, but this week we would like to give a special shout out to Derek J., Kevin R., Richard S., and Jason L. If you would like to help support the show and get ad-free versions of each episode, plus access to our supporter-only Discord chat and a bunch of other fun perks like this weekend, we have a supporter-only hangout on Zoom, head on over to dlweekly.net/support and become an official weekly tier.
Now let's get to the news.
Extra, extra, read all about it. DL Weekly reports from intrepid correspondents Tag and Teresa. You heard it here first, ladies and gents. Breaking news!
With the upcoming 70th anniversary of Disneyland coming up fast, there has been some work to get the parks in tip-top shape. Last week, Rise of the Resistance in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge had the cannons fixed. This effect has not been working for the last year or more. Rumor online is that it was a programming issue that over the course of the day, the movement got out of sync and caused the attraction to stop working. That has been corrected, and the cannons appear to be back. For those of you who this is a little vague for, there is and maybe had never experienced this. Basically, after you escape the AT-AT walkers, there's that room you go into with the giant cannons that are firing out the windows to your right. You move up and you stop. Well, the reason you stop is because the cannons are supposed to move up and move back, and that effect has not worked since quite a while now, and now it is working again. And after you talk about your feelings on it, I can tell you the weird technical thing I read about why this was.
Hey, there you go. This is huge. This is huge news. I know we're Disney nerds, but this is a safe space because you are all Disneyland nerds along with us. That's why you're listening to DL Weekly, right? But anyways, massive breaking news. Like, almost fell off my chair when I read this because, like Tag mentioned, this has not been happening, hasn't been working correctly for a while, and this effect added a lot. Maybe if you had never experienced Rise of the Resistance when this effect had been working originally, maybe you didn't notice, but for those of us that knew it was supposed to happen, it just felt awkward being in the transport vehicle, dodging nothing in that scene. So I'm so excited about this. And for those of us that knew it worked and didn't know it worked, or maybe you didn't know it wasn't a thing and you just felt that scene felt off, this is, for me, it's towards the end of the attraction. So you're just kind of ramping up on the getaway and the adrenaline and all that. And this kind of stunted that a little, just kind of ugh. So I can't wait to re-experience the attraction with this effect working because I just think it added, maybe a lot of people thought it was a little thing, but I think it added a whole lot.
Oh, it totally added a whole lot. And like I said, for somebody who went through and experienced it when it was working, it is very awkward when the effect isn't working because your vehicle kind of isn't moving. So I'm going to find the video.
It feels like you're the vehicle's stuttering, but you don't know why it's
Yeah. So I'm going to play a clip we are live streaming this as another thing as well for our AP level and above. So I'm going to go ahead and share this window. So this is what it looks like now. So yeah, as you come around, the cannons are moving back and forth because they kind of recoil from firing, even though it's kind of funny because obviously a laser blast probably doesn't have a recoil, but it's still really cool and does add a lot to that scene and really makes it super awesome. It was such a cool effect when we first rode the attraction. I was like, this is what a trackless attraction should have, is this ability to have something get in your way that then you can move through. Super cool. So the nerd answer that I read on Reddit. There was somebody who is connected to somebody at Disney,
Who
I
knows
guess.
things.
And they said what it was the timing of the cannons moving was programmed in such a way that there was a calculation that they ran, and the calculation was drifting. So in the morning, everything would be fine, but as the day went on, the time would get a little out of sync further and further as the day would go on. And so what they ended up doing, because it would cause the attraction to stop, is they shut that off, and Imagineering got around to doing it and testing and all of that, and they were able to go in, I guess Thursday night or something, and do a little software patch, and it's working now. Which, shout out to those programmers who worked on this, because it's so cool. So cool.
But yeah, that's a big thing, because it is the whole thing of this effect is about the timing of it. So yeah, I could see how that would cause issues if the timing would, especially if it's good in the morning and then just starts shifting off towards the afternoon and evening, which maybe accounted for some of the reasons why Rise would go down so frequently.
Yeah. But David from Fresh Baked in his construction update talked about, like, there's all these little things that the resort is trying to do, kind of like when the 50th happened,
Which is
that they're
good.
trying to fix a bunch of little things around the resort. And so that's really, really cool. And the first big one is this section in Rise.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's quite a bit happening elsewhere in the resort as well. Over in Disney's California Adventure, Elias & Co. on Buena Vista Street is behind scrim and scaffold. The Cozy Cone Motel in Cars Land is still working on the updates to the main office. The new seating area nearby also has partially gone back behind walls to add what looks like a shade covering to the spot. The Little Mermaid is still open, but getting an extended standby queue. I have thoughts on that. Grizzly River Run is undergoing a major refurbishment, including work on the guardrails and some stonework.
Okay, what's your opinion stuff that you just said you have thoughts on?
Okay. I'm going to get on my little soapbox. I know Tag will be on the box with me.
Oh, yeah.
The Little Mermaid does not need a queue extension. The Little Mermaid only is getting an extended queue because of the lightning lane added to this attraction. There was never a wait time. Never a wait time. You never saw this queue spilling out into the current extended queue. So the fact that they're having to add more queue in front of the building and queue is wild to me. Absolutely wild. I feel like they created a problem that doesn't need to exist.
Exactly. Yeah. And, they talked about how they had only added Lightning Lane to Pirates when the Haunted Mansion was undergoing its change. And they have not removing Lightning.
We haven't.
Lightning
No.
Lane, so
and
that's kind of sucky.
And then the other thing too is there's rumor that they're looking at taking out areas to rework that queue so that the queue doesn't continue to spill into New Orleans Square. But again, if you wouldn't need to do that. Just if they just could remove Lightning Lane, they would remove both of these issues, because both of these attractions are amazing people eaters.
Yep.
And they're just not running as efficiently with Lightning Lane.
I don't get it.
So there's a soapbox.
I don't get it.
But the rest of it, I'm all for. I think it's great that we're going around sprucing things up, sprucing buildings up that don't maybe see as much TLC all the time. Cozy Cone's wild to me, because this has been taking a very, very long time. So I'm curious what all's going on there.
That's what I was just going to say, was that it sounds like the rumor is, and we don't have confirmation of this anywhere, but the rumor is that the Cozy Cone, that they're working on a system where you would order at this check-in building, basically.
Oh.
And then you would go pick up your stuff, kind of like you do now with the mobile order.
But it's like a kiosk mobile order option?
I don't know. They said that, like, you would come to the lobby thing for the Cozy Cone, you would place your order for whatever at any of the cones, and then you'd go pick it up at the cone. Which kind of works, because this area thematically is wonderful, but logistically can sometimes be a little crowded, because you're ordering and picking up, and these cones are not very, I'm just thinking about the cast members even, these are not very large spaces.
Yeah. Well, and again, this is probably another thing that they've accidentally created a problem with mobile order. If this would have just be standby only, like it was originally built and designed for, would we still have the same issue?
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, it was built almost 70, DCA wasn't, but Disneyland as a resort was built almost 70 years ago. Lots of things have changed, and whether we like it or not, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Well, over in Disneyland, more light poles are covered up around the resort to allow for maintenance. This, of course, is addressing the stuff that had happened previously with the winds knocking over some of the poles, so they're going and trying to do that. The Disneyland Monorail and the Disneyland Railroad are closed until early March to work on new entrance gates for the downtown Disney station of the monorail and the rest of the track replacement for the Disneyland Railroad that was started last year. The Jolly Holiday and It's a Small World are down for... Especially It's a Small World, people might think, oh, it's just getting the holiday overlay removed. But no, they are finishing a refurbishment that they had started previously when they were converting it to holiday. So these closures, they've just kind of extended them a little bit to do a little bit of extra work. What's your thoughts on this?
So light pole work is interesting. I don't know if these all needed to be replaced or if maybe this is just preventative since there were issues with other light poles, but makes sense to me. Also, again, I think it's just kind of a general sprucing up of the resort ahead of the 70th anniversary. I just think it's so interesting and cool that they, instead of just doing one big chunk lengthy refurbishment for Small World, that they were able to strategically kind of tack it on to when they turned it into, transitioned into the holiday season. And now again, when they're transitioning out of the holiday season, I think that was a really interesting way to do it. I was surprised about the train though, because I thought that project would have been like, it seems it was very recent that the train was just closed for a big chunk of the track to be replaced. So it's surprising to me that it didn't feel like it was open for very long before they closed it down to then continue on with that work. So
I think it was because they wanted it to be open for the big holiday season, right?
Must have been.
Eats up people.
Yeah, it must have been just like, Small World, where they're just doing a piece ahead and then a piece after. I do feel bad for folks like Tag that are going to be visiting during this very heavy refurbishment time, because it's going to be a very interesting and different park experience not having these things going on. I
watched David's Fresh Bake video, and he talked about that there's a ton of little things that they want to do before. Now, the 70th kicks off in May, and we're in February now, so it's got to happen pretty quick. But some things that he talked about were things like there's talk that they're going to take down the Tiki Room for a little while and refurbish that. He didn't know if it was part of the update, but I hope it is. The fixing the animatronic and the effects in the waiting area, like that tree, the flowers haven't come down forever.
Yeah.
So he was talking about maybe that they're going to try to fix some of that stuff too, which I'm excited about. So they are doing some things that I think will be good. The one thing we didn't talk about is some Downtown Disney stuff, which was my fault for not putting in the news. But the ESPN zone is getting a lot of work done. We talked about this a little bit previously.
There's scaffolding and tarps. It looks like they actually opened
into it,
like part of the facade, so that there's going to be a big grand entrance almost.
Yeah. And then, of course, the rumor is that Loungefly and Funko may be looking to move in to this space, which would be cool.
The cool part with Funko is people are speculating and wondering if this is going to be a Funko similar to the Funko that is in like Hollywood, which has it's more than a store. It is an experience because you have
all the Funkos are like that, aren't they?
Are they? I don't know. I know there's and then there's the one like in Seattle area. Yep. Somewhere Pacific Northwest, there's another Funko but they're like these big immersive, larger than life Funko experiences that you kind of get to walk through. And so yes, you get to shop, but it also would just be a cool place to visit. So I really hope that's true, because I think that'd be really, really cool and would totally fit in with the whimsicalness of what Downtown Disney should be and is.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so I'm excited to see this Downtown Disney stuff come together. Obviously, some of the things we talked about, the monorail station also getting the gates and stuff out there. So, it's good that they're doing stuff and progress is moving along.
One more thing I wanted to mention with Downtown Disney. James and I talked about this last week. We were talking about Disney Storyland Boutique. Well, it's now been confirmed that the merch that people were feeling reminded them of merch that you could purchase from Tokyo Disney is Tokyo Disney merch. So, and it's super, super cute. They're your favorite, like all the adorable characters you love, but like different spin. So like here's Baymax with like a little pink flower on his head, and he's got I think they're little like mochis, and there's this really adorable collection. There's not a photo of it in here that is Winnie the Pooh characters and different characters, but they're all like in pink tones instead of their normal tones.
Oh, interesting.
Very, very, very cute. But yes, it is actually Tokyo Disney merch that is showing up here. So I think that's really fun.
Now, if only they would bring Tokyo Disney foods, like the whimsical nature of it to Disneyland, I'd be all about it.
Well, this coming weekend is the last chance to hop aboard the red car trolley at Disney California Adventure. February 8th is the last day for the attraction, which added a lot of kinetic movement and atmosphere to Buena Vista Street and Hollywood Boulevard. While you won't be able to ride the trolley anymore, one will be parked near the entrance to the park for photos. We love a good photo op, but
just can't fathom that Disney is going to. We talked about this before. They put money into a induction charging system for this not that long ago. Obviously, the red car trolley in general was pretty pricey to add. It's a fun attraction. People are on it. It adds kinetic energy and movement and makes it real authentic feeling on Buena Vista Street. And it just bums me out that somebody at Disney needs to find a way to put the barn for this somewhere else. Don't even have a barn. Just park it on Buena Vista Street and put walls around it when they want to refurbish it or something.
There's just something in me, maybe I'm very, very wrong, but there's just something in me that just cannot wrap my head around and just does not believe that this is the end for the red car trolley, because for all of the reasons that Tag mentioned, it just doesn't make sense that they'd do away with it. I feel like, yes, the issue is that the current location that it gets parked off stage is going to become part of Avengers Campus, but I feel like that should be something that they'd be able to figure out. It might just be in limbo while they're trying to figure out all the plans for Disneyland Forward and where different expansion things are going to happen, and really what backstage area is going to continue to be backstage area, or is it going to get absorbed into park space? So it might just be kind of put on pause. It does bring me hope that they're at least parking it, though, because I feel like if it was going to be gone for good, it would just be gone.
Sure.
So, and again, maybe that's just my wishful thinking. But the only thing that could make the red car trolley better is if they could somehow figure out and install it. It won't happen. But if they could install it to have it go to San Francisco too. If you had a stop by San Francisco entrance down by the Little Mermaid there.
Yeah.
And
that would
make it
great.
A little bit more of a mode of transportation around the park.
Yeah, just have it go follow the parade route and put it back over there somewhere. I just feel that
it could be part of the parades.
I will say, okay, devil's advocate here. One thing, if they do get rid of this, one thing that is a potential positive is you couldn't have tall floats because of the cabling. If they're not going to have the red car trolley anymore, they could get rid of the thematic cabling, which I assume they would if they're not going to have the attraction anymore. And that would allow DCA to have taller parade floats. Because with Paint the Night, they had to not have a couple of the floats. I never even
the floats always seem like they're giant, but I've never paid attention that they would have to those cables are there that they have to be aware of. Okay, there's our one little positive, but that's all we're giving you because we really want it. We really want the red trolley to stay.
Yeah, I'm in denial. I think is what it is.
I'm right there with you.
And unfortunately, we're just a couple weeks too late to ride it one last time.
Yeah.
Anyway, Madame Leota's Somewhere Beyond shop, which just opened last month, had some flooding issues last week. The heavy rain flowed down the walkway from Bayou Country and right into the front door of the shop. The resort already has plans for work to be done with the path in front of the shop to correct the issue. The shop will remain open during this work with the entrance allowed by the Haunted Mansion exit.
This just makes me so sad. I mean, it makes total sense because it is just a big old slurry of concrete that goes right up to the front entrance there, which is level with the concrete. So, of course, heavy rain, which doesn't happen often in Southern California, but when it does, that water needs somewhere to go. So, it's so unfortunate. I'm glad that when this was going on, they were able to get it contained and get sandbags in place so there was no damage done to the interior, which is which is really great news. But yeah, so now they just have to have a new issue that they're going to have to fix. Maybe, dare I say, maybe we will get a lovely little planter put back in front of the shop, a little thematic planter that can help make the water take the corner instead of going straight into.
If I had to guess, they're going to dig a hole.
And
they're going to dig a trench, and they're going to put a little drain grate over it, and it's going to go right there. That'd be the easiest thing to do. If we look at this picture of the front of it, it could drain off over here into the attraction of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. It's never going to go that way.
I'm wishing there was a planter, a nice little thematic planter.
But what shocks me most about this is when they were constructing this and planning all this, that's not something that ever crossed their mind that, maybe water would come down this way. It just seems like such a oversight, like an interesting oversight that somebody wouldn't have it seems like Disney does such a good job planning for stuff like that.
Sure.
That it seems interesting that they didn't this time.
That it was missed, yeah.
Yeah. But that goes along with my nice little, she almost got washed away. Anyway.
So sad. Disneyland After Dark Sweethearts Night was hugely popular, but the other Disney After Dark nights still have tickets available. 90s Night still has some tickets available for March 4th as of this recording, and Star Wars Night still has all dates available. If you're interested in attending either of these, check out the link in our show notes to go secure your tickets.
So I am looking at the events page for this, and the Sweethearts Nights are, well, not over yet. There's still a few more this month, but they're all sold out. Mm-hmm. And the 90s Night, let me just double check on this. I'm pretty sure this is still the one night available.
And it was only 2 nights.
Yep.
It's a 2-night event, 2 nights only. And they only sold one of the 2 nights out, which I'm surprised. And it was an opening night. Opening night is still available.
Yeah. And then Star Wars Night has all the nights. Now, because we had kind of a negative experience of this, my first reaction to that is, well, yeah,
see, my reaction is look at the prices on these tickets. 90s Night is $149. Star Wars Night starts at $169. I'm wondering if Disney has priced them, if they have. I think Disney's priced these tickets too high because for an after-hour ticketed event, $180 is a lot to spend.
Well, and the other thing too is
for a ticket,
most of the nights are Tuesday and Thursday nights. There is Star Wars Night. There is the Sunday, which is the 4th, May the 4th, which makes sense. But it's 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Well, if you have work the next day, that's really difficult. And if we look at, I'm just curious, if we look at 90s Night, that's also like a Tuesday, Thursday, and that's also 9 to 1. Yep. So,
It's I just feel like maybe I think we've reached what people are willing to pay for. We've surpassed what people are willing to pay for these after hours events.
We had some discussion in our chat, I think, about this.
We did. So this is not the Universal Weekly podcast.
No.
However, Universal has now started on with some similar after hour type events. I don't remember all the details. We won't go through all of them, but
right here.
Their event tickets start at like $75, and you have the option if you would like to have an early access mix-in period or not. So if you don't want that early access mix-in period, that's when the tickets start at that $75 point. If you want the mix-in option, it was a little bit more expensive for the more time in the park. That seems like a real good deal when you're looking at the Disney After Dark events starting at $100 more per night.
Yeah. I didn't even know Universal had something like this.
I think this is new. I think this is brand new this year.
Yeah. And theirs are on weekends. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
They're really fun, really cool looking things, especially if you're like a Back to the Future fan or there's a Harry Potter themed one. Like if those fandoms are things that you're all about, they look super fun. It's called Fan Fest Nights. Actually, contact our friends over at Concierge because they would be able to help you plan a trip and secure tickets for some of these fun themed after hour events. Again, I know this is not the Universal Weekly podcast, but it is interesting to compare the two since they are they're close together. They are definitely rivals in the theme park biz. So it is interesting to see what what they're doing, especially when it's something similar.
See, this is so cool. Okay, so I'm looking at their ticket prices for this, ticket options. And I know we've kind of gone off a little bit, but but the Universal Fan Fest Nights general admission is from $74. So I assume it's like different depending on the days that you pick. There's the Express, which is basically their lightning lane kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So for that, it's $173. The Unlimited, which is unlimited express access, so the regular express just lets you go one time to each thing, is $203. And then they have one that's called After 2 p.m., so it allows you to have general admission to the park and that night for Fan Fest starting after 2 p.m. for $114. So that's not too bad.
So their mix-in starts at 2 p.m. Disney's mix-in would start at 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember what the party... Yeah, what the party... times were for Universal. So it's similar, but they're approaching it differently. Now it is Universal's, I believe, first time doing this sort of thing. So perhaps they have the prices are lower because it's the first year. They don't know what the demand's going to be. Maybe it won't be very long until the prices are right up there with what the Disney after-hour nights are. But it's just interesting to compare the two.
Yeah, and I was just curious. I was trying to find here because they said it starts at 7.
7 to 2 a.m. is the party time.
Ooh.
Wow.
I mean, that gives you like even more. Now, I will say, obviously Universal, I would say in general, Universal caters to like the teen and above kind of demographic. So I think staying open till 2 kind of makes sense, where Disney, I think, caters to the families. Mm-hmm. So I think there's less people that are willing to stay out to that. But anyway, so if you're in the Southern California area and you want to experience a different type of After Dark thing, you can go to Universal, which when we go in February, James and I and our exchange student, we're going to Universal for one of the days because we don't go that often. So we want to do something a little different.
Why not?
But again, like Teresa said, we're not the Universal Weekly podcast. A pop-up mini golf experience is coming to the Pixar Place Hotel. Pixar Putt, which was at the D23 Expo. It had a season in Washington, D.C. and Long Beach. Opens on February 7th at 3 p.m. and will be at the hotel until June 1st. Tee times are every 30 minutes with discounts for hotel guests and magic key holders. Prices range from $28 to $33 plus $2 per person service fee. Reservations are strongly encouraged. Everywhere I went was saying, do reservations.
You need to do this. I was just trying to look ahead to see if there were, how long this is going to be here. Just pulling through and looking through the calendar, there are dates available through June 1st currently. So if this is something you're interested in, oh, you did.
We'll be at the
I
hotel
missed
June
that.
1st. Yep.
I was too busy trying to figure out,
I also said it right here.
Is this something you and I are going to be able to go and do? Because we didn't have a chance to do it at D23 because there was just way too many fun things going on that we didn't have a chance to go experience this. We saw it. It looked really awesome. So I kind of want to, we're going to be there for the Disneyana event, which is at the end of May. I kind of want to book a time for us to go do some Pixar putt-putt. I love mini golf.
I like mini golf too. I looked. The annual pass holder magic key discount is $25 a person plus $2, and I'm just like,
that is a pretty steep price for mini golf. Yes.
Yeah, but I mean it's cute. So Laughing Place,
it looks so fun.
Covered this when it was. I think this was when it was in DC. Maybe it was in New York too. Apparently, yeah, they have a whole covering of it. Super themed like you would expect.
It's so cute. It's so cute. We'll have links in the show notes if you guys are curious to see what the little setups are. But I mean, this is the most well-themed, immersive putt-putt course I've ever seen, I feel.
I don't know why Disney doesn't just have a putt-putt course like
they need
permanently installed in somewhere around the resort.
Okay, I'm watching the video on pixarputtputt.com. Again, it's linked in the show notes. The little promo video here. Yeah. So the Soul one, your little golf ball goes down like a keyboard. Like it looks like it's almost like our grand staircase that we were talking about earlier with the cruises. It looks like a grand staircase keyboard that it goes down. That putt one went down like the memory orbs, like the little casing thing that the memory orbs go down. That's for neat. Inside Out. So well done.
Oh, yeah, here's the stairs. Yeah.
I think Pixar Place needs to make this a permanent install. How cool.
I don't know. Like I said, this is traveling, which is nice to let people from out of the area get to experience stuff like that. But at the same time, why don't they install something permanent like this somewhere? They could do this.
I feel they have mini golf at Walt Disney World. I think we need some mini golf at Disneyland.
Tara in our chat. Great idea. Pixar Putt be an annual thing, maybe in DCA as part of Pixar Fest.
Oh, very fun.
Really cool.
Very, very fun. Okay. I was excited about the past story with Pixar Putt Putt. However, I am so excited about this next story because as soon as I saw these things, I instantly thought of Tag. And before I even get into it, this was released while the news actually for this I saw when I was on the cruise, and I was so thankful that it didn't somehow get covered while I was gone, so I could be the one to talk about it with you. Well, one of the smaller places to pick up tasty treats has new items on the menu. The Royal Street Veranda has added baked cheesy biscuits with an optional side of Cajun cheese sauce. They're described as Cheez-Its in biscuit form. The biscuits are made with sharp cheddar and Cajun cheese and are brushed with garlic butter. Dang, does that not really sound amazing? The sauce is not overly spicy and adds a sharp cheese flavor. The biscuits are $8.99 and the dipping sauce is $1.39.
So here's the
other super fun thing is there is a snack size Mardi Gras Monte Cristo available. For $11.49, you can have a deep fried Monte Cristo sandwich filled with ham, turkey, and Swiss cheese, dusted with Mardi Gras powdered sugar with, of course, a side of jam. They have not had a snack-size Monte Cristo at the resort since Touch of Disney when we had them at the Smoke Jumpers Grill. They had the breakfast Monte Cristos.
That's what I was thinking of.
That we tried at Royal Street Veranda, but this is a true Monte Cristo.
I will also say that I'm interested to try the tangerine cream soda, which is there too.
Yes.
So that could be interesting. So hopefully this will still be there in a couple weeks when
I
I'm
hope
there.
so too.
Because the Monte Cristo, so I'm not a ham person, but I tried the Monte Cristo and I liked it, but I just don't need as much of it as they give us.
Yeah, that's why this is perfect.
Yeah. But I'm also excited by these cheesy biscuits because they remind me of the biscuits that if you ever went to Red Lobster, they have those. Yep. And if you ever had Schwann's food delivery, they had the same ones, the Bay cheddar biscuits or whatever. Anyway, I know people get all about them. So
this whole seasonal specialty menu sounds like the perfect lunch to me. A snack size Monte Cristo, baked cheesy biscuits with a side of Cajun cheese sauce, and wash it all down with a tangerine cream soda. I don't think they will have this when I will be back at the parks. So I really hope that they have it when you'll be at the parks at the end of the month and you could tell us all how amazing it is.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, there's so many things I want to try. So I want to try, they have the new dipping sauce or whatever with the baked cookies that are at the Harbor Galley.
Like a hazelnut dipping sauce.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Of course, there's all the thing is we're going with our exchange student who's never been there. So of course I want to hit up all the staples too of look at this stuff that's really good. So it's very tough. So I guess I'm glad that the Lunar New Year stuff won't be there because
and the Jolly Holidays closed.
Yeah, but I can get grilled cheese.
There, you can have a Monte Cristo instead of a grilled cheese.
You know what I haven't had at Disneyland in a really long time that I really want?
Bengal barbecue.
No, I've had that at Disneyland more recently. A clam chowder bread bowl. I haven't had one of those in forever.
Yep, and now you'll be there in February, so it'll be the right time of year to have a nice, warm from the inside bread bowl.
We have to get the snacks for Tag and Teresa and James and Bern. Oh, and Cinderella. Time for SnackChat.
Well, this week for SnackChat, we are cruising on down to Flo's V8 Cafe. Such a fun, themed establishment. I just love the outside. I don't know, the outside theming of it being this larger than life gas station, but really it's outdoor seating. It's just so fun to me. Plus the inside is very fun.
I feel like we don't eat there hardly at all.
Not too often, no.
The theming of this place is just amazing with all the neon and everything that you get while you're there. And it's one of the larger eateries in DCA with tons of seating, which is nice.
And it has seating and hidden seating, which is even better. So then you can you can always find a place to sit and eat and enjoy your food. Well, we will just be going over the
I guess I'm going to read off
regular lunch and dinner options. Of course, they're like any good Disneyland eatery. They have all sorts of really fun themed specialty items going on right now. But we are for the seasonal offerings. But we're just going to talk about what you can get there any old day. Of course, there is Flo's famous fried chicken. Now there is a big contention. Who's got the better chicken? Is it Flo or is it over in Disneyland at Plaza Inn? I have my thoughts. I was going to say I'm a Plaza Inn person. I think Plaza Inn beats Flo's just a little bit, but Flo's is very, very delicious too. The biggest difference is in the breading, I would say, between the two, and the seasoning that's kind of with the breading. But Flo's famous fried chicken comes with roasted garlic, mashed potatoes, gravy, and seasonal vegetables for $19.99. Again, really great portion to be able to share.
Yeah, the garlic mashed potatoes sound really good, but don't you get a garlic mash thing with the one
you get? I think it's just regular mashed potatoes.
Okay, so maybe I should do something about that when I go to Disneyland and eat fried chicken again. I should go get the garlic mashed potatoes. There's the Ramon's Low and Slow Club Sandwich, which is turkey breast, crispy bacon, an avocado bacon mayo, that sounds amazing, lettuce and tomato on a toasted white bread with cuties, mandarin oranges, or steak fries. So that's all good.
There's also a Cobb DeVille salad, which is mixed lettuce, turkey breast, crispy bacon, blue cheese, hard-cooked egg, corn, and tomatoes with ranch dressing. This sounds... If I could make a couple adjustments, I would be all about this
What
salad.
would you take off?
I am not a turkey person, and I am not a hard-boiled or hard-cooked egg person. So if I could take those two things off, I'd be happy.
It made me smile when I saw the name of this next one, the Cheeseburger, like ka-chow. Choice of patty, cheddar cheese, Thousand Island, and caramelized onions on a toasted bun with cuties or steak fries. Sounds pretty good. $13.99, not too bad.
Okay, so the only thing that I've had here is we've had the famous fried chicken. I have not tried the club, the salad, or the cheeseburger, but now that you just now that I'm looking at what the description of the cheeseburger is, that's caramelized onions, yum, cheddar cheese, Thousand Island dress. I'm so curious about that. And for our plant-based friends, there is an option here for you as well. They have an Impossible Burger, which of course is the Impossible patty with American cheese, also with caramelized onions, lettuce, and tomato on a toasted bun with cuties, mandarin oranges, or steak fries.
Yeah. They have a micro burger for kids. Oh, okay.
I will explain. Okay, continue.
Which is a mini all-beef hamburger with cuties, mandarin, or carrots, and choice of small low-fat milk or small water for $8.99 for the kids option.
I just lost it because the kids' meal options are so adorably named. We have chicken fenders, which are crispy chicken strips with cuties, mandarin oranges, carrots, and choice of milk or small Dasani water. We also have Max mac and cheese, again with cuties, mandarin oranges, carrots, and a choice of milk or water.
Exciting you got over the fact that
it just took me off guard because
chicken fenders.
Totally just I think my brain just fills stuff in. So when I first saw it, I saw tenders and didn't think anything of it. And then all of a sudden it dawned on me that is an F, not a T. Well, tell us about dessert options at Flo's.
All right,
Tag.
I finally got a menu up here. So for desserts, they have a Flo's Classic Shake, which is vanilla chocolate or strawberry shake topped with road gravel, which I assume is like Oreo or something. And a Flo's Classic Shake in a souvenir glass. You get it in a souvenir glass as well. I'm curious what the souvenir... Hold on a second. I'm going to begin a mobile order because I want to see what the souvenir glass looks like.
One of our weekly tiers that's in the chat just said that their favorite strawberry milkshake from anywhere is at Flo's. That is high praise for a strawberry milkshake from Flo's.
The souvenir glass you get is like an old school... like malt,
like a soda shop
glass that has Flo's on it. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that was an option.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, look! Oh, that's an alcoholic beverage. I was like, that looks like a fun beverage for you, Teresa. And I was like, oh, it's booze.
They do have some alcoholic beverages there as well. There's a Seaborn Spicy Cucumber Margarita, Hamilton Family Brewery Toe Mango Double IPA,
and a Seaborn Lavender Lemonade, and a Seaborn and Blueberry Margarita.
There you go.
So
lots of different options at Flows.
And like Teresa said, and I totally agree, that there's an outdoor seating on the backside that faces Radiator Springs Racers, and you can watch the cars go racing by.
It's so fun.
And that's a really fun spot. We recorded back there once, I believe.
We have, yeah.
So it's definitely something that we've done before and was a lot of fun.
It's that time again for our friend Eric over at Concierge to catch us up on other Disney news.
Hello, everyone. This is Eric Johnson with Concierge, and welcome to the D180. While Teg and Teresa cover all things Disneyland in the D180, we take a spin around the rest of the Disney universe, and we do it in 180 seconds. Let's jump right in. Let's begin this week in Epcot, where the Festival of the Arts continues its run and adds in new, art. Communicore Hall is the newish multi-purpose space in the World Celebration area of the park. If you're not familiar with the layout, take a right after you pass Spaceship Earth, the park's giant icon. If you hear the sound of an Encanto sing-along dance party, you're headed in the right direction. Anyway, Communicore Hall hosts a new exhibit celebrating the art and craft of the Broadway musical. Once upon a stage, 30 years of Disney on Broadway is a celebration of Disney's incredible run in musical theater. Inside, you will find an array of props, costumes, and behind-the-scenes magic. Marvel at a gigantic giraffe puppet from The Lion King. Inspect the intricate design of costumes from Aladdin. Learn about the myriad talented artists who create the look of shows from sets to costumes to props. It's a rare opportunity to see some of these items up close and personal and for free. Except for park entry, I guess. It's great to see Epcot using this space in a new way. Disney told us early on that the new Communicore could host lots of new ideas, and here we are. We've moved from additional food locations at the last festival to a cool exhibit right here in the heart of the park in this festival. I can't wait to stop in and see Once Upon a Stage. With every new attraction, we must say goodbye to something. Such is life at a Disney park, and it's the philosophy that Walt held from the earliest days of Disneyland. Much of Dinoland USA at Disney's Animal Kingdom is now closed. Fans of Triceratops Spin and the Roadside Carnival games will have to head to Disney California Adventure to get their fix. Work is underway to bring the tropical Americas to Animal Kingdom, including the world of Encanto and an Indiana Jones adventure. For now, you can still visit the late Cretaceous period on Dinosaur, the last attraction left in this area. Fans of Muppet Vision 3D and the Muppet-themed Grand Avenue area of Disney's Hollywood Studios might want to schedule a trip to the park before June 7th. That's the date Disney has scheduled for the last day of operations in this area. As sad as I'll be to see the Muppets depart, I take heart in the knowledge that soon they will reappear across the park. There's no date yet released by Disney, but the Muppets will take over the Rock and Roller Coaster at some point relatively soon, and I'm sure they'll find some way to resurrect Muppets 3D in the future as well. Rumors suggest there are plans to move the movie someplace closer to the roller coaster. Muppets 3D was the last project Jim Henson ever worked on, and it would be amazing to see Disney preserve it somewhere. If you're feeling the sting of the loss of Grand Avenue, just look for the pics of the next big thing. Monsters, Inc. is coming to this area of Disney's Hollywood Studios, and it's going to be incredible. We're likely to get some restaurant space, Harryhausen's Sushi, anyone? And a brand new roller coaster based on that iconic door scene from the end of the movie. This will be a massive addition to this already amazing park. I hope you enjoyed our quick spin around the rest of the Disney universe. If you'd like to learn more about these Disney adventures or just have a few questions, please come on over. Visit the social media and websites of both DLWeekly and us, their official travel planners, concierges. We look forward to planning something special for you and yours. I'm Eric Johnson, and this has been your D180.
Thanks, Eric.
DLWeekly announces the boarding of the Trivia Express, non-stop star speeder service to the moon of Endor. All passengers, please prepare for immediate boarding.
Hello. I'm back in Trivia Land where I belong. On this side.
I would just like to say that I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say this. I don't usually listen to our podcast when I'm in general, because I'm here usually. But I did listen to last week's because I wanted to hear about Teresa's thing. And I listened to the trivia section, and I would have been pretty good at trivia last week. And so I'm very sad that I missed it.
We didn't do that bad.
No, I'm not saying you guys did bad at all.
We had 3.5 right.
No.
Yeah.
What was your bathroom of the future?
That was... ended up being the spaceship to
The mission to Mars.
Oh, because it was so... Yeah, okay. Yeah, so anyway, I just thought, for sure... I was like, I have these answers, and I was so mad because I was just in the car listening by myself, and I couldn't be like,
now I know.
I knew this.
I
The
know
true
how all
listener
of the, you had the true
experience.
listener experience with Trivia Land.
Well, I was yelling at my radio, so now I know how you guys feel.
Mm-hmm.
My radio, my car stereo system. I'm old. Anyway,
Well, I can't wait to give you 4 questions that I'm sure you'll get right this week.
okay.
Just positive. I'm not positive. But, I figured give you a fair shot at these. And you got some listeners to help with these as well. So,
Okay.
Are you ready?
As ready as we'll be. Maybe I can pretend I'm screaming at the radio in
There
my
you
car.
go.
Perfect. Yes. Channel that inner car. All right.
Channel the inner car.
Ka-chow, chicken fenders. And thanks to listener Jacob B. for helping with this question. Where in the park can you find a nod to the year 1764?
Is that the thing that was supposed to be the tunnel that went over to Tom Sawyer Island that's over by
yeah.
by the
It's
Haunted
that
Mansion?
funny little, it's like over by the rivers of America.
It's like that
Oh,
little,
I thought you were telling me to do something.
No, it's like that little arch
Yeah, there's a little
thing.
archway, and it looks like it's been I don't know,
Like
sealed.
Yeah, like
sealed back up.
bricked up. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, what was it? Matt McKim, I think
Mhm.
we learned,
Had like a whole story about it.
worked on that, and he's the reason that it has that number on it. But yeah, I don't know what you want to call that. Like faux tunnel
Yeah.
between the landing of the. It's kind of by the Pelican.
I can follow the
Eating
spirit
area.
of your answer enough to tell
Okay,
you whether you're
okay.
right
It's
or
by
wrong.
it's
So,
by
It's between the Haunted
what is
Mansion
that
and the
called?
Rivers of
See,
America.
now I thought I had the name of the landing.
and Harbor Galley. It's like Pelican Point or something like
Okay.
that.
I feel really dumb not knowing that right now. But anyway.
All right, moving on. Second question. Which attraction in the park has a hidden, or maybe not so hidden, reference to the former Skyway ride that closed in 1994?
Wait, what was the first part of the question?
Which attraction in the park has a reference, hidden or maybe not so hidden, a nice reference to the Skyway buckets?
And it's an attraction?
Uh-huh.
Okay, that blink, 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 blink thing that you just did, Tag, I'm feeling that too. I feel like,
I'm giving the 1,000-mile stare to Teresa's glass of water right now of I feel like I know this.
The Matterhorn, because there's a bucket in the Matterhorn.
Oh, that's true. Yep. Yep. See, I knew it was something stupid like that. Well, see, what made me think it wasn't the Matterhorn, let me just tell you my thought process. I didn't think it was the Matterhorn right away because I thought that it was... All I remembered was that it had the holes that the Skyway went through, and I'm like, well, those have been kind of covered up. So
I was thinking more obscure. I was thinking about where the staircase used to be that you'd would go to enter it and all that kind of stuff. And then I was thinking, is there some little tiny thing in a dark ride somewhere?
Right. Well, and then I was thinking,
and then
Harold...
you said something, and I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, I'm thinking way too minuscule.
Well,
It's
and I was thinking
an actual
Harold...
bucket is in the Matterhorn.
Harold in the Guardians mission breakout. So I was like, is there a Skyway bucket in there? Anyway. Thanks
and
for
then
getting
since
us
I
there.
was just recently at Disney Springs in Walt Disney World, I was thinking about the Skyway bucket that's hanging in one of the shops in Disney Springs, which wrong coast, wrong park. That's not helpful.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's those obvious ones that just really get you. You're just... Well, I guess we shouldn't be so confident. We don't know if that's the official correct
That's
answer
true.
yet.
I mean, if you're right, this is, again, probably the take experience where he's in the car just yelling, "It's the Matterhorn! Come on, it's so
Yep.
obvious."
If I was in the car myself, I probably would have gotten this question right off the top of my head. But since I'm sitting here and on the spot, it's all falls out on the floor.
All that awesome pressure. All right. Question 3 this week from Ayla T. What year did Starbucks open in the Disneyland Resort, and where was the first location?
Well, the first location, I'm pretty sure, was the Market House on Main Street.
It was there before Downtown Disney and
I
stuff?
think so. But what year did it shift to being Starbucks? Because that location existed prior to...
Okay, I'm going to go totally crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's not going to be right, though. I'm going to say 2011, and I'm going to say when the Fiddler, Pfeiffer, and Practical Cafe opened. I don't know why.
Oh.
Because that's also a Starbucks location. I feel like maybe it came there before it came to the Market House. But then I also want to say like Downtown Disney, because there was that one Starbucks at the hotel end that is closed and gone now. But I don't know how long that had been there. Good old Starbucks.
Now you got me thrown. I was, for some reason, I was just stuck on the Market House. But now, yeah, Fiddler and Fife. I would say that it was probably serving Starbucks. I'm going to say 2000.
Because when did Buena Vista Street reopen? Because Cars Land opened in 2012, right?
You don't think it opened with the park?
Cars Land?
No.
No,
Fiddler and
because
Fife.
no, because there was like a Burbank ice cream and like some other shop, and there was
Gotcha,
a toy store, like a full giant toy store there. So they rethemed all of that.
I don't know. Was it like 2009 or something? Okay. I'm going to go with 2000
Okay.
in the Market House. Because I feel like I don't remember it not being there, and my first trip was in the year 2000. So there's my logic.
I'm going to say 2011. Make sure you write down Fiddler, Pfeiffer, and Practical Cafe.
Okay, you made your way there. Since you've done so much thinking, I'll just end with a true or false question for you. Outside the Adventureland Bazaar, you can find a small carving of Abu from Aladdin, a playful nod to the bazaar scene in the films.
False.
False. I don't think there's an Abu. There's like the jade elephant. There's a Aladdin magic lamp in the shop that you can like put a coin in or rub or something. I don't remember.
But is
something.
it Aladdin's, or is it just... I think it's just a magic lamp. I don't
that's
think
true.
it's Aladdin's magic lamp.
Yeah.
I'm going to follow up on a question that we had in our chat. One of our listeners asked if the closed up tunnel that we were talking about for question number 1,
Yes.
if it's related to the original story for the Haunted Mansion. From what we heard from Matt McKim at a Disney Anna event, he is the one that I think he like did the sculpting of the rock work there. He's the one that also picked the year. It has no meaning, according to what he
That's right, because he
presented.
he loves reading everybody's
thought
speculation
processes,
of
and
stuff, because he's like,
speculations.
I don't know, I just picked a number.
Yep, it's just a random number, and there's no official lore that it's tied to the mansion. I don't remember why he explained it was there, if it's just something interesting thematically, but there was no like when they put it there, it was not officially tied to the mansion at all. I do know that is one of the stories or kind of rumors about that tunnel, and it is funny because it's very mysterious. And according to his presentation that we saw, there is no mystery. It's just random. So that's, yeah. Anyways, continue on with regular trivia.
But that's it for the regular trivia. We've done it. We've made it through all of my questions for you this week.
Ooh.
Look at that.
So it's a good question of how are you feeling about the week? And listeners at home, how are you feeling? Did you yell at the radio enough? I hope so. But you'll find out for sure how you did this week after more cruise discussion topic.
At your job, do you ever have to deal with a nose roller? How about a snub pulley? Well, if you're installing a new conveyor belt system, dealing with the different components can sound like you're speaking a foreign language. Luckily, you've got a team ready to help. Grainger's technical product specialists are fluent in maintenance, repair, and operations. So whenever you want to talk shop, just reach out. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
All right, well, this week for our discussion topic, I was not here last week, so I had to listen to our podcast episode to hear about Teresa and Vern and her mom's awesome experience on the Disney Fantasy, which is considered by most people who've been on Disney cruise ships, at least before the new ships came out, to be like the cruise ship in the fleet at the time. The Fantasy. People love the Fantasy. So I think you had a really great time. It sounded awesome. I like the fact that you basically brought me back to the Dream because they're both the same kind of ship layout. But you were saying that there was some different theming with a couple of the different like restaurants and stuff that were a little bit different. And also, I was surprised that you had done research and found that the Enchanted Garden was like the worst. Like, I don't remember any of our restaurants being like the worst. Actually, I thought the Royal Table was the lackluster one for us.
Really? You didn't like the deep fried brie? I love the deep fried brie.
Well, that's like one item.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is like overall. We did ask our servers which restaurant did they least like working in, and they said Royal Table because they didn't like the costume they had to wear.
Sure.
Because not only do you switch, but your dining team goes with you, and there's different themed outfits.
Yep, there's different themed outfit for each of the, which makes sense.
Yeah.
It is amazing when you think about it because, right, they're on a cruise ship. They have, I'm sure, not very spacious living quarters, and they have how many different outfits? Because just the dining team, they have a different outfit for each of the restaurants.
Yep.
If they are, we'll talk about this later, getting off of the ship to go work on the island, there's a specific outfit that they're wearing for like the buffets on the island to help with that. There's outfits that if they're helping with like the buffet cabanas on the ship, that's a different outfit too. So there's there's a lot of different outfits that these folks have to have.
Well, and I'm trying to think,
just work outfits.
I'm trying to think like, where do they store all of this on these ships?
I know.
Because there are hundreds of staff in each of these things, and I'm just thinking they probably don't just have one of each you know what I mean? Like they probably have backups for things if it gets dirty or whatever. That's like
amazing.
a whole nother thing we can go down.
That's a whole different rabbit hole.
Did James ask you? I don't remember. Did you get churro waffles?
I did.
And what did you think?
We got them they're my new favorite thing, easily. So I need to tell people this because I didn't know this. We have to let the masses know what a churro waffle is. So everyone knows what a Mickey waffle is, right? I thought a churro waffle was just the waffle tossed in cinnamon sugar.
Yep.
No. These were deep fried waffles, then tossed in cinnamon sugar. I did not know about the deep frying part.
See,
you do not need anything on these either. No syrup.
No.
I thought that maybe butter, because I didn't know if they'd be dry. No, you don't need butter. They were.
Do you know what I ate mine with?
Good.
You know what I ate mine with? Because they were. I think eating it by itself, it is just a little sweet, too sweet. I ate mine with whipped cream.
Oh no!
Because the whipped cream toned it down a little bit.
No,
for me.
I just enjoyed the churro waffle and all of its goodness. Look, here's my nice little photo of my churro Mickey waffles.
They're so good.
I had churro Mickey waffles.
How many did you eat? Did you eat all three of those?
I had 3.
Did Vern have them?
Yes, Vern had them, he just
because he's the churro guy.
He was wildly obsessed and didn't understand why it wasn't an everyday occurrence. But yeah, I had churro waffles and fruit that morning. Oh my gosh, so good. But I was not expecting that they'd be fried. I don't know why that didn't cross my mind. I really just thought
Didn't
they
you see pictures of when?
sugar.
I guess from a picture you can't really tell, but yeah,
so good.
And they had what's funny is they bring them out and they have a giant baking sheet full of them, like a industrial baking sheet size. And they go quick. People they flock to them on yours?
No, I don't think they knew the wonderfulness that was a churro waffle. But they're perfect. They totally have the flaky, crunchy outside, nice, soft, warm inside. It was perfection. I enjoyed them far more than I thought I was going to. And the thing that was nice, James and I were talking about this last week, was our head server every night came around, touched base with each of the table, but one of the things that he also did was kind of tell us and prepare us for things that were happening the next day. So before we went to Nassau, he kind of gave some things some points of interest or whatever, or would say you can get off the ship at this time, but make sure you're back on the good information.
Yeah.
So then the private island days, he would say tell us where the different eateries were, and he would tell us which eateries his team would be working at. So if you wanted to go see your server, you could go see your server. And then the last night, I was so excited because I thought I was going to have to look through the buffet every day to see if churro waffles were going to magically appear or not, because that's the magical thing about churro waffles is they're not there all the time.
Yeah.
When I went on my first Disney cruise, it was 4 nights, no churro waffles. The Treasure
That's amazing.
Preview
I thought they at
cruise,
least be once.
the Treasure Preview cruise, which I thought for sure, no churro waffles.
They're like gold.
Yeah. And then it was day 5, our last, our final day, and it was a day at sea. And I was so thankful because our head server came around, and that was his big announcement, was that churro waffles will be available the next morning, which we were going back and forth. I said, because my mom, we wanted to do a sit down breakfast.
Oh, sure.
Instead of doing a buffet breakfast. And I said to my mom, we can do that, but first we need to go up and see, I need to check the buffet if there are churro waffles or not. Because if there's churro waffles, I need a churro waffle. Mm-hmm. But if there's not, we can totally do the sit-down.
So did you not do a sit-down restaurant?
We did not do a sit-down restaurant because
did your mom have a churro waffle?
Well, the sit-down breakfast. Yes, my mom got churro waffles too.
Did she like them?
I mean, she did book a placeholder, so I'm not going to say the churro waffles are the reason. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah. Anyways, now
there's
that we've
also a
gotten
rumor,
sidetracked,
which I don't think
waffles.
is true, but there's a rumor that somebody I saw either on the Facebook group or the WhatsApp group or whatever that we were involved, that on the days that they have it, you sometimes, I didn't try this, so I don't know if this is true, you order room service churro waffles.
Oh, that is some different level.
My thought is this. It's a Disney cruise. If they have it on the ship and it's cooked, they will get it for you.
Yeah.
Even though it's on the menu.
It's kind of like Mickey Premium bars. They're not actually on the room service menu, but you can order Mickey Premium bars for room service.
Can I counter? You were very excited for the Mickey Premium bar. You went on a whole thing, because I listened to last week's episode. You went on a whole thing about this. I just want to be on record, which I'm sure I've been on record before. I don't understand the Mickey
Have you had one on
Premium
the cruise,
bar. It's just a vanilla ice cream bar dipped in chocolate.
It is, yeah.
It doesn't do it for me.
But it's delicious vanilla ice cream with really scrumptious chocolate.
I will say that one thing that you said in last week's episode that made me think that maybe I should try it was, in the parks, they're super frozen, and that experience is not great because you're trying to eat it, but you can't. And then by the time it starts to thaw, then it's getting everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm just this is not worth it.
No, I do not enjoy Mickey Premium bars in the park, but I do enjoy them on cruise ships. It's a different experience.
I'll maybe have to order the Mickey Premium bar next time we're on the ship for room service, but
or you can get them at the
just
restaurants
know,
too, but yeah.
Not it's one of those. It's like the turkey leg for me. I don't understand the appeal that people have to these. I'm like, they're just a chocolate ice cream bar. I don't know why everybody's freaking. Anyway,
like I said, it's I'm entirely that same way in the parks. But then when I had one on a cruise ship, it was a different experience. So I am a cruise Mickey Premium bar person.
I mean, everything's better on a cruise, right?
Right, yeah, exactly.
Plus, it's free. You're not paying for it.
And they'll bring it right to your room.
Now, I have a question. When you ordered room service, did they do it with you like they did with us? Do they really want to come in your room and set the tray down? You can't just be I can just take it from you?
So we did room service only once, and we did breakfast. It wasn't even that long ago, and I don't remember if it was either our Nassau morning or our Castaway morning. But we did a room service thing before disembarking. I think it was our Castaway morning. And yes, that morning I think because it was more of a setup, and the other thing was my mom was the one that answered the door. And it was three of our breakfasts plus coffee and stuff. So it was a lot. And when she brought the tray in, she said it was quite heavy. So I think that was the other reason he wanted to help. But she's like, no, I got it. But then when we were on the Treasure and all we did was order smaller things. So one night, I think one of the girls ordered chicken wings and I ordered a premium bar. And one of the other girls did too. When it was just a couple of things, they didn't try to come in to kind of set it up, but it was also not as big of an ordeal. Does that make sense?
Sure. Okay, yeah. I just remember being a little frustrated because we had laid down. We were basically like ready, almost ready for bed. Like we were, like I didn't have a shirt on. I was just in like sleeping shorts or whatever. And I just wanted to like answer the door, grab the tray from him and like go.
Yeah.
And he's like, can I bring it? Like I need to bring it in or whatever. And I was like, okay. And he came and sat down and took the cloche.
Yeah. The little cover thing.
There was a whole Jon Stewart video lately that he went on about a cloche. Anyway, so that's what I had said in my head. And then he was like, there you go. And like, I don't know. It was weird. Anyway, let's talk about the islands. Because last week, but you and James talked about the ship.
Yes.
First of all, was there anything about the ship that you didn't talk about that you had remembered between then and now that you wanted to talk about before we move on to the islands?
I'm sure there was something, but there's nothing that comes to mind right now.
So the islands. First of all, what non-Disney place? Did you just have Nassau?
Nassau. Yep.
Did you get off in Nassau?
We did, yeah.
And how was that for you?
That Nassau was the warmest day, so it was the least desirable because it was so hot and humid. And then about midday, there was a shift and it got cooler. So we decided not to do any sort of excursion and just kind of check out the port. They just recently redid the port area there, which is really nice. It's this nice like outdoor kind of market feel with all these permanent structures, but it's like all sorts of different local artisans and shops and all whatnot that they've got there. So that was really, really cool. They had watermelon Dole Whip at one of them. Ooh. So, of course, I needed to try that. If you thought Disney prices were insane.
Oh, yeah.
It was like $11 for this watermelon Dole Whip that the three of us shared. It was tasty.
Did you know it was $11 when you bought it?
Nope.
Okay.
I should have paid attention. That was on me. That's okay.
So they told you what the price was and you were like, okay.
I'm like, I only wanted one, right? No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, that was the most expensive Dole Whip I've had. And I've had Dole Whip in Hawaii, but it was all part of the experience, right? Anyways, it was really nice. And then there's what's the famous straw market, which is there, which is again, just tons of vendors. Thankfully, we got there early. If you want to check out the straw market when you're there, it was an experience, but it's lots of vendors that are not shy about asking you to come look at their things and, really are a little pushy. So if you're uncomfortable with that, definitely go early. We went early just by accident. Not all of the vendors were open, which was nice because as you can see there, it's kind of overwhelming. They don't have very much space lengthwise, so they go vertical with their stuff. And there's tons and tons and tons and tons of vendors selling all sorts of things, similar, different, unique, whatever you want, it's there. And the aisles were kind of skinny. So that was the other nice thing too, being there earlier. And it wasn't like full of other tourists going through because it would have just been.
Oh yeah, this is kind of
very,
narrow.
Very kind of if you get kind of claustrophobic feeling, it definitely would have. I could see how it could feel that way. But like I said, we went early and it was just us and a couple other groups and like. Not all most of the shops hadn't opened yet. There were like some folks there. So we were still able to get have a shopping experience, but it was just a little bit more low key. And we just kind of wandered around like the neighborhoods down there. Mom and I decided it was too hot for us. So we went back to the ship early. Vern did a little bit more exploring and actually did some research and pulled some stuff up and found some points of interest that he wanted to go check out. So it was an enjoyable day.
I just want to mention, so we went to Nassau on one of our like first cruises like years and years ago. And looking just at the satellite view, you know me, I'm a big satellite view person. This area that you were talking about that was like recently
it's so
done,
cool.
This was not like this at all.
It was really
It was not great. The reason I asked you about this was when James and I went, we did an excursion. This is where we went snorkeling, but we were in the off season, so the waves were really rough. So our person told us that there was supposed to be a spot where we could swim with sharks, but it was too wavy, and so they said it's too dangerous for you to get off the boat because like when you go to get back on the boat could like swing up and hit you.
Sure, yeah.
So you can tell everyone it wasn't that you didn't want to swim with the sharks; it was because the weather was bad and it was dangerous. But that was one of those things we went it was on the complete opposite side of the island from there, so it's quite a little drive. But there's also the Atlantis, their big resort there. But I just remember like that was not a great experience. But this looks like
gorgeous.
it's way better now. So
There's a museum.
I'm glad I asked.
Yeah, there's a museum right as you get off the Museum of Junkanoo, which we'll talk about Junkanoo more when we talk about Lookout Key. But yeah, it was very, very cool. I was tempted to go through the museum, but I was trying to like not learn too much about Junkanoo because I knew that was something that was going to be part of our Lookout Key experience. So I wanted to kind of go in without, knowing too much because I wanted to learn all about it and experience it on the island.
So you said that was the first stop, right?
That was
Nassau?
Yep, that was stop number 1.
All right.
So after Nassau, the next day, we stopped over at Castaway Cay, which Castaway Cay is Disney's, now we can say this, original private island, since there are now 2. But Castaway is just lovely. This is now, I feel ridiculous and very fortunate to be able to say this. This is now my second time that I've been there in a month, which is wild because the Treasure cruise also did stop at Castaway Cay and we got to spend the day there. Gorgeous. I don't know if I shared this. This was pure magic. The first time ever going to Castaway Cay was on the Disney Treasure, right? We had a balcony room on the Treasure, and before we were getting off the ship, for whatever reason, I was on the balcony taking some photos. Nobody believed me, but all of a sudden my jaw dropped. There was a stinking rainbow over the island. And I was just like, there's a rainbow. And
Disney made that happen,
I think it was even Hannah. And she was like, there is not. I said, there is. Like, this is insane. There's this like beautiful, perfect rainbow over the island. I'm like, holy cats, like that. Come on. Like, that wild. And then the other thing, I don't remember if I told you this. Again, this was first time. We had gotten back on the ship. For whatever reason, I was chilling on the balcony again. And I just happened to like look over the side of the ship and like kind of down in the water because the water there is just the water anywhere down in the Bahamas is just beautiful. It's just this beautiful blue, turquoisey, just awesome color. And I just happened to look down and there's a sea turtle swimming on down by the boat, which a sea turtle is that's my favorite animal. And I like freaked out. I almost like flung my phone off the balcony because I was so excited. I was like, oh, it was so cool. So I was hoping beyond hope that I'd see spoiler alert, we did not see a sea turtle. I was looking all over the place like a crazy person. Did not see a sea turtle this time at Castaway. But we did get to do some really fun, new to me things with Castaway. So the first thing that was on our to-do list was, as you all know, producer Vern, avid runner, loves running, runs every day, runs marathons. There is an it's an official, but not like rigid. It's kind of do it your own,
Sure.
whatever.
It's not a competitive.
Yeah. And there's not an official start time, but there's a 5K on Castaway Cay. And it's just kind of, I don't know, I guess it's the honor system would be a good way of saying it. You can start and go on and do the 5K at any point. You don't have to do it first thing in the morning. It's not like an official race where there's like a start line and like somebody like tells you all to go and there's a whole herd of people. It goes.
Is it like on one of these like little trails?
Yeah. It starts at Pelican Point.
Okay.
And there's a little pathway just past like the bike rentals. Actually, the bike rentals right there. There's a shop called By the Seashore. So you get off the tram. Yep. You go around the little stop. There's 2 shops. One's a like merchandise shop. The other one's a frozen themed summertime freeze.
Oh, cute.
Shop.
Ice cream shop.
There's a big, the beach is to your left. But if you keep going straight, you run into what will be the bike rentals. And that is also the start of the 5K. So the 5K starts there. It goes out. You go down the runway. And then there's this little,
It is funny that like a main thoroughfare for the island is this runway.
Is a literal old runway, yes. You go down the runway, and then there's this like nature loop that you take. You do the little loop there. You go up to the observation tower, back down around. You continue down the runway to Serenity Bay, which is the adults-only area. So you turn back around. So you go to the end of the runway, you turn around, you do your little nature loop a second time, which got a little confusing because the first time we went through the signs, someone had knocked some of the signs over. The wind had knocked the signs over, so we didn't see that. So you do the little nature loop twice, and then you go back to the beginning. And when you're done, you go let the person at the bike rentals know that you finished, and you get a medal.
That's cool.
So yeah, it was very fun.
So did you and Vern get a
medal? It is not a time. Yes, Vern actually ran it. My mother and I decided we walked it. But yes, we all three ended up. Oh no, Mom didn't want a medal, so just Vern and I got medals. So it was very fun. I took a picture. Don't you worry.
Okay.
But it was very nice. I took videos of like the pathway.
Oh sure.
It was all paved, and like there was bicycles that people were enjoying down there. It was very shaded.
Like how much the bicycle rentals were?
I want to say it was like $25 for bicycle rentals, but it was like $25 to rent a bicycle. But they had some fun theming stuff to look at along the way. There's 2 different planes on the runway that are just off the runway. Both have Donald Duck painted on them and have like all sorts of fun theming things around. Lots of really pretty flowers and all sorts of different plants. Here's my lovely little Castaway 5K medal. Now the medals on Disney cruises are kind of made out of like a rubber.
Right.
But it's still super cute themed. It says Disney Castaway Key 5K. It's got a little Mickey running on it. So and again, it was included. It wasn't like an extra cost to get the medal, or we had to do anything more than just go on this 5K. But it was really nice. It was a really fun way to start the day.
You said the Serenity Beach was the adults only beach. Mm-hmm. Oh, so like this whole section along here.
Yep.
Okay, because I was like, there's not that many things. Okay,
oh no, there's a lot.
Now, did you take the tram?
We did.
You did?
We took the tram.
How long does the tram take to get from like the Serenity Beach area to kind of like the main area?
Just like 5 minutes if
that.
that.
Okay. Because I'm trying to get scale. It's hard with like the satellite view.
So we'll think of this. A 5K's just over 3 miles, and we had to go do that little loopy thing twice.
Okay.
Plus basically most of the length of the runway.
Okay.
So yeah, it's real fast. It's probably not even 5 minutes. You probably spend more time waiting on the tram because, if you're like me, you don't ever time it correctly and you always just miss the tram. So you have to wait for the next one.
And do the trams take you like almost anywhere? It looks like, because
So
you can get on one over by the ship.
You can get on one basically just as you get off the ship, and then there's 2 stops, and then there's a separate Serenity Bay tram. Okay. So if you're on the main tram, you can stop at Scuttle's Cove, which is the first family beach. There's also like some more eating things. The infamous Mount Rustmore is there, which is the really adorably painted buoys that have the different characters on it.
Okay, yep.
The characters do their little meet and greets kind of along there too. There's a kids club and splash pad and all sorts of fun stuff down there. And then if you continue on, you get to the second one, which again was
by the bike rentals.
By the bike rentals, Pelican Point Landing. And Pelican Point Landing, again, there's the bike rentals. It connects with the tram that takes you out to Serenity Bay. The beach cabanas are out past that area as well. The fun thing too is the Pelican Plunge, which is this really fun, if you zoom in on it there, it's this really fun floating water park thing with all these fun slides.
Did you guys go on that?
We did not. We did not.
Why not?
We decided we wanted to go snorkeling. So we actually went over, and right next to the Pelican Plunge, the beach just next to that on the other side is where all the things are sunk for the snorkeling.
Oh, that's right. I heard about this.
So that's the swimming and snorkeling lagoon. I have a very sad story. I decided to purchase snorkels for us, which we got the full face ones instead of the goggles and the thing that you have in your mouth, because I thought that'd be, better. So we got them, and us being total noobs to snorkeling, poor Vern, we got out there and we were it's deep. Parts of these things are deep. You're not touching the ground. So we're okay, we got everything all situated. We're all right, let's go, because they have you go in pairs. They don't want you to go out in this area by yourself. Pro tip, I would definitely consider bringing flippers, because it was actually a little further out of a swim than I realized it was going to be. So flippers would make it go a little bit quicker. But because Vern has facial hair, it wasn't sealing under his chin, so he couldn't get it. So we I did get to see fish, but we didn't get to the first point because poor Vern could not get his snorkel to
poor Vern
to snug up enough under his chin.
This area over here that's kind of
further out is if you're asking about the snorkeling stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little further out.
That's
so
neat,
so we didn't do the snorkeling like we thought we were going to do the snorkeling, which was kind of okay because remember when we were talking, I think we talked about this on the podcast. I have this weird every time I've watched videos of the Castaway snorkeling stuff, I find it a little creepy because it seems like there's different things that are sunk. Like there's a Dumbo ride vehicle. The one that kind of gives me a little ooze is they have Prince Eric sunk from the statue from The Little Mermaid. And whenever I watch people's videos, I don't know if the water is just always murky or if this is just normal snorkeling kind of stuff, but it seems like it kind of comes out at you from nowhere. It's just kind of it kind of comes out of the, I don't know. So it just
comes out of the murky.
Yeah. And then suddenly there it is. So it always ooh, it gets me, it creeps me out a little bit.
This is cool. There's a lot of stuff.
That's just it on video. So I was kind of hoping to experience it in real life to see if it still kind of had that weird, creepy feeling or not. But
I'm just looking.
Anyways.
I found a video, so I'm just trying to.
There's a stingray.
Trying to find if there's a spot in here that's Prince Eric.
But I was
this looks a little clearer than you
chatting,
were probably thinking about.
I was see that's kind of because it's further away and it's in the water, so it's not very clear. And then all of a sudden you come up to it. So it makes me feel a little creepy in video, but maybe it'd be fine. But
God,
if this is something that you want to do, they do have little, I don't know, markers or buoys, so you can kind of see where they are in the surface.
Sure.
To figure out where it is, so you're not just kind of blindly going around. But yeah, it looks fun. Next time we go.
This
figure
looks
like
much
that.
Murkier.
That seems creepy to me. That all of a sudden there's Prince Eric statues.
He's gonna get you, Teresa. He's gonna get you.
But anyways, we did see fish. We weren't super far out. So if you're worried if you're gonna be able to, if there's are there fish or not? Yes, there are fish. In one of the videos that Tag just pulled up, there was actually a stingray that somebody caught. Mm-hmm. On camera in this snorkel lagoon. I've heard people say that they've seen sea turtles while they're out doing the snorkel thing, and I can tell you there are sea turtles there because I saw one from the ship. But yeah, very fun. But the thing that's just wild is if you've been on other cruise lines,
well, see, these people have the flippers
and gone to other private islands, there's something about Castaway. It's very compact. Even if it's your first time going, it's very easy to navigate. There's signs everywhere, but everything's kind of set up in a line. So you can't really get turned around because it's either in front of you or behind you.
That's what it looks like.
They also have multiple places for the included buffets. So there's cookies, and cookies 2 are the 2 family buffets. Okay. If you want a little bit more peace and relaxation, there is a Serenity Bay barbecue out in the adults only area. There's soft serve aplenty. Huh? There's 3 buffets because you've got the 2 family buffets plus the adults only area buffet. The food was really delicious.
I was going to say, how was the food?
Fresh, yum.
Because that stuff comes off of the boat, basically, right?
Yeah, yep. So the same crew that was doing food on the boat comes off the boat and does the food service for the boat. There are some folks, we did learn this, there are some folks that live on the island because we did Castaway Key trivia later that afternoon. Spoiler alert, we did not win. But we learned lots of things. There's hot dogs, there's hamburgers, there's what was it? There was a pulled pork. If you're over there was ribs. The ribs were very, very good. If you go out to the adult only area, they have grilled steaks and stuff. There's really great fresh potato salads and pasta salads and those. There's lots and lots of food. And then again, they have all of the sodas are included. So they have soda machines out there. They have soft serve machines out on the island, so you can get all the soft serve your little heart desires. They typically have banana flavored soft serve out on the island, which is very delicious, especially if you are a banana runts lover. That's what it is. But very fun, very enjoyable.
Okay, other than this is a big buffet. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we got the food. and you guys did the little 5K. Is there anything that you did? Like, did you? I don't know. What else is there to do on the island that you
relax on the? So we went and relaxed on the beach. So what we did was we got off the boat. I think we could disembark about at 8:30. We got off the boat probably at like 8:45. Went all the way down, did the 5K. That took some time since we walked it. And then we decided to walk all the way back from the 5K to the boat because apparently we didn't get enough walking in. And got back on the boat, changed, and then got off the boat and then spent a couple hours just lounging on the beach. We did some shopping at the different shops because there's merchandise specific to Castaway Cay that you can only purchase while on Castaway Cay. So, of course, we needed to go check out the merchandise. Vern had to go see the post office because there is a Castaway Cay post office. It was closed. It was also closed when we were there for the treasure. I don't know if they are open very often, but you can buy stamps at the shops.
That's cool.
And then there's a little like drop box that you can put it in.
Vern's like, I would like to transfer to the Castaway Cay post office, please.
Yeah, so it was really enjoyable. We spent some time trying to figure out the snorkels. Did not do well figuring out the snorkels. Spent some time just laying in loungers. That was the other cool thing too, is there's tons of seating. We came up late, so we got off the ship after we changed, met with Chippendale, which you'll see as our episode graphic for this week. And then basically we were hungry because we had a light breakfast with it being just room service breakfast. So we stopped at one of the buffets, and then we went to go find ourselves a chair on the family beach, mind you. We easily found chairs in the shade, no problem. So that was a really nice thing because sometimes people think, you got to get out there early to get yourself a chair. And so, like, if you don't have a specific spot that you need to be sitting in mind,
sure,
you can get out there whenever works for you. There's plenty of seating. There's multiple main family beaches, plus there's again the adult only beach, which then we went and checked out the adult only section. So Vern and my mom could go see it, and much different vibe there. It's a lot more calm and relaxing. There's not as much music playing in the adult only areas, both like on the ship.
Tranquil.
Yeah, just a little more tranquil. There's a big area of the Serenity Bay that's quite shallow, so it's good if you want to like take your seat and like sit in the water kind of shallow. And again, tons and tons of lawn, tons and tons of beach chairs with umbrellas, no problem finding yourself a nice spot.
How long were you there? Like how long was the port day?
It was, I think it was 8:45 to 4:30 was.
And did that seem like enough time if you've never been there and want to see everything?
Yeah, plenty.
Okay.
Both times now that I've done cast, but again, I'm not a big like just lay on the beach all day type person. I like to do and see things. So spending like an hour or two on the beach is more than enough for me. So I really enjoyed getting up, doing the 5K, kind of seeing the island, seeing the nature. We saw all sorts of fun little lizards and stuff like that while we were doing our little walk. Right? Yeah. And then going back on the boat, changing. They do have restrooms on the island, of course, but not good like changing rooms. So I would suggest changing. It's much more nice to change on the boat than it is on the island. I did that the first time when we did the treasure, and it was just
not great.
There's not really good places to like set your stuff while you're changing, and I'm not a person that likes to put my stuff on the floor because of course there's sand and all that. So I
was surprised because I'm looking at a satellite view right now, and your first day was Nassau, right? You said, and then Castaway. If you look this up on Google Maps or whatever, Castaway is basically straight north of Nassau, and then you guys went to Lookout Cay, which is like you have to like backtrack, go past Nassau because Disney's Lookout Cay is kind of like east and slightly south, and so it's weird. Like I thought for sure, like you would have done it differently because they kind of anyway. That's interesting. So did you have like your first stop was Nassau? Was it like the very next day you were at Castaway, then the very next day you were at Lookout?
Yep.
So let's talk about Lookout. Now, you've been to Lookout before.
No.
You didn't get to? I thought you got to on the...
No, we only got to go to Castaway the first time. Lookout was brand new.
So what did you think? Okay, before we talk about specifics, just overall, was there one of the two that you thought was better?
You know how much I love this question. For me, I don't think it's hard for me to compare the two because our experiences on the two islands were very, very different. And we'll kind of get into that.
Well, let's talk about it.
So for us, Castaway is Castaway's wonderful. The ship is right there.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to kind of bounce back and forth from ship activities to island activities, no problem. That is not the case at Lookout, but they do have a long pier because they're trying to save like the reefs and stuff there. So the pier's kind of out in the middle of nowhere, it feels like, and there's this long walkway. Now I will say the walkway there, if you have mobility issues, they do have trams that you can request, and they will have little like golf cart things that'll cart you down, so you don't have to worry about, if you've got a wheelchair or any sort of mobility problems, you don't have to be nervous about
walking like 800 miles.
Have to do this walk. You don't have to do this walk. They do have services available, but it's just not like the tram at Castaway where it's open for everyone to use.
Okay.
I didn't find the walk to be that a lot. I know a lot of people have talked about like, oh, it's forever and oh, there's no shade, and we were very fortunate. It was a beautiful day, but it wasn't overly hot. So walking down this I could see how if it was like a really hot day, how this could be really miserable because there is no shade and you're walking on this walkway in the middle of the ocean. So, and there's no trees, but they had like water stations every so often. So you could easily get, and ice cold water stations. Same thing. I should go back. Same thing with the 5K on the trail. They had all sorts of little water coolers with little disposable cups. So it was very easy to keep hydrated and kind of cool down if needed because I was surprised that the ice cooler or that it was like those igloo things, those bright orange things that they have at sports events.
Yeah.
Ice cold water in them though, which was really great and refreshing. So you have this long walk. I think it's like a 1/4 mile walk from the ship to the main entryway.
0.6 miles according to this.
Okay. It didn't feel like that.
Yeah.
So, okay, it's a 1/2 mile walk. Again, they have little stops with water coolers. They also had a couple of stops that were like nice, like stand here, get the picture of you and the ship in the background.
Which is cool.
But I was not bothered by the walk. But again, I could see how it could be bothersome, especially on a hot day. So I'm sure Disney has been doing all sorts of things to kind of address issues that were present when they first opened. One of the main issues was, I don't know if you watched any of the first videos or heard any of the first comments of folks that had gone, they had this really wild problem with flies. So when people were at the different, again, buffets on the island, like swarms of flies. They worked their Disney magic because there are not flies anymore. I didn't see a single fly. Our waiters were actually telling us that there was sand crabs all over the place.
Oh, and
you'd see these sand crabs, and actually it was a little bit problematic because children would go and try and pick them up and all this stuff. So they have an ecological team on the island that's kind of working to figure out how best to have the area safe and enjoyable for guests, but also it is still a habitat for all of this different life. So they've done something and figured out the balance because the crabs were not to be seen, so they must have their own little, and that might just be something new too, because this was there wasn't stuff all over before. This was the crab and the flies area. So with anything, they probably just shifted what they were doing too. So, but none of that stuff. So if you'd heard anything about, oh, there's flies or oh, there's this,
I did see a lot of people complain about the flies.
Yeah, they've somehow done something. I don't know what it was exactly, but they've addressed that issue. But the coolest thing, and the thing that I was the most excited about for this, is the island is very rich in Bohemian culture, and they very much celebrate it. And they have this cultural center actually kind of at the heart of the space. So when you first get off the ship, your first stop is basically the tram station, because where the actual beaches and stuff are quite a ways down. You're not walking to where the beaches and whatnot are. The first little section of beach that you see are the cabanas and stuff that you have to pay extra for, but the regular beach is further down. So they've got all sorts of trams taking you there. They have this wonderful little narration that kind of talks about well, it talks about like the sand crabs and the lizards
Sure.
and like the wildlife that call the island home. They talk about like the island and a little bit of the history of the island and such. But yeah, so they've got this. We didn't actually take our suits for this because we weren't here to like do a beach day. We were all about learning about the culture, and Disney does a really great job of edutainment here on Lookout Key. And we spent basically our entire day at the cultural center learning all we could about Junkanoo. And then they have like a little Junkanoo like parade with music that's interactive that goes through twice a day. So much fun. So basically Junkanoo is this wonderful celebration that has all these bright, colorful costumes that each of the folks make their own of, and it's like music, and it's singing and dancing and all sorts of fun. So first thing we did was we learned about Junkanoo. We actually got to make, I brought them to show the stream and to show Tag. We got to make our own little like headpieces. So this was the one that I made. It was just made with, it's just like crepe paper and these
That's cool though.
peel and stick little things. They gave us like a cardboard whatever piece
Backing.
Yeah, backing and like paper straps. And this is one that Vern made. But yeah, so they in the cultural center they tell you that, tell you the history of Junkanoo, how it started, what it represents. They talk about
That is colorful.
making, how they make their own costumes and stuff. So then you get to make a piece of it. They talk about the music and the importance of the different instruments because they have specific instruments and each instrument like means a different thing. And then it kind of all wraps up into then this nice little like little parade and little celebration.
That's really cool. Their
It's
costumes and stuff are
so
very
cool.
like vivid and very
So
detailed and intricate.
detailed. Like there's one that it was like the main person comes out and it's based on like a flamingo. There's ones it's amazing, just so cool. Oh, there's the lady. She was the one that showed us how to do the stuff. They kind of parade to the cultural center and then they invite everyone to join them, and you go back with them and parade back to where like the marketplace
cool.
was, and then they kind of stay stationary, and then there's like this little dance party basically. So I was going along doing my own little thing, having fun with that, and she came over and was just, I'm sure she was just being very kind because her stuff was gorgeous, but she was like taken aback by my headpiece and was just like, that's so good, and like anyways, it was so fun. That was a little marketplace that the like dancing happened. I tried to be good, Tag, and I tried to take video of like
good
of it happening and me doing it, and then I watch back because like when you're filming it, you feel like, oh gosh, I've been filming this for forever, right? Well, then I like
a few seconds.
yeah. Then I like rewatched it. I'm like, oh, it's only a couple seconds. So anyway, so we did all of the Junkanoo things that we could do and learned all about the festival and the culture. It was very fun.
Some of these spaces look amazing. Like
Yeah,
these, like seating spaces.
So
and
all
stuff.
of the spaces are kind of like on a boardwalk over the sand because the water does come up. So they did build everything up so that the water could still do its thing with the tides rising and falling. All of the seating for like the buffets and everything completely in the shade. So there's no worries of trying to find a shady spot because it's all there. Even watching this video that you've got right now, Tig, that the like trees and all of the plants and everything that they have there have grown up so much already. So it's still, you can tell that it's still new because you can tell that like the plants and whatnots are still kind of filling in. But I get it. Like it's hard to kind of really judge it right now because it's just not as mature of a space as what Castaway is, because Castaway's been there for years and years and years, and this has been here. They've only had this open for a couple of months at this point, so hard to compare. But they're making strides, and I really enjoyed it. The other cool thing too, their sand there has like a pink tint. They have pink sand.
You're right though. I just picked a different video, and I can just tell looking at this that like a lot of this stuff is grown up.
Yep, it's filling in.
That's crazy. Yeah, because I looked for just like something more recent. Okay, so. It seems to me like there's, because we talked, I think, a little bit about this when you went originally. So you've noticed that it's changed even just from the first time you went. So what's kind of like, is there anything that's like a must? I mean, other than oh yeah, that looks really nice.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Other than the culturally relevant stuff that's super cool and very unique to this island, what's kind of like the other must-do stuff?
Food.
Yeah.
They have a lot of Bohemian dishes here. In fact, there was even a foodie guide that came out on the Disney Parks blog.
Now, you're saying Bohemian, you mean like Bahamas.
Yeah,
the Bahamian
Bohemian.
or
Yep,
whatever.
yep,
Okay.
yep. Bohemian, not like Bohemian.
Yeah, because you said that at first, I was like, how does this relate?
Bohemian. Bohemian.
Okay, thank you. I was having trouble.
Bohemian. So the food was delightful. They had, there was a blueberry soft serve that you could get on the island there that was quite delicious. I'm trying to remember all the different things that I ate. They had fried plantains, fried yucca, like fries, all sorts of different like barbecued meat. There was some things that were similar that were dishes that we had on Castaway as well, but there was more unique food offerings here than there was.
So I think you mentioned this earlier to me, and I just saw this lady that I'm watching this video of, because I'm a visual person, so I should explain I'm trying to look at stuff. She had a coffee. You were going to say something about coffee.
Yes. I feel like I need to tell everyone about this experience because everyone knows how much I love my cold brews, right? So I was very excited. In fact, first thing I did.
Does she have like that's not a cold brew, but
yeah, but she has some sort of beverage there. So the first thing I did was went to Mangroves and Go, which is
like right when you get to the end of the pier,
yep,
right?
Right at the end of the pier before you hop on the tram. And I grabbed myself a Bahama Brew, which is a cold brew with Hawaiian Island coconut cold cream, which sounded delicious to me. I tried it, and my first thought, and of course I tried it and was on the tram when I tried it, and my first thought was, I don't think he gave me, this doesn't taste like coffee. I don't think he gave me. That sounds
delightful.
I'm like, I don't think he gave me the right thing. Like it tasted almost like a smoothie or like juice. It was very fruity and very sweet. I was not getting coffee at all.
Okay.
And so it was enjoyable, and I was already on the tram, so I sipped it down and drank it. Here's my fun little thing. So they have
Do you not
reusable.
think that they gave you?
I'll finish the story for you.
Okay.
They do not have reusable, or it's all reusable cups on
That's
the island
good.
because they're trying to be sustainable. So there's a really fun, like one of my new favorite colors, like a blue teal stainless steel cup. The straws that you get on Disney cruise lines and on the private islands are like candy straws that are different flavors. So when I was ordering coffee drinks on the boat, they'd give me either a chocolate flavor or a coffee flavored straw. But if you got adult beverages or like mocktails or whatever, they had mango flavored straws. There were strawberry. There was a lime flavored straw. So they kind of would give you a straw based on what it was that you were drinking. So I was a little confused because he gave me a mango straw for my coffee too, which I was like, that seems
strange.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, it was fruity. So I actually stopped back on the way back because I was like, I need to know, like, it did not taste like coffee at all. It was not what I was expecting. And so I asked them, I said, hi, I was here this morning. I said, this is what I ordered. I said, I have a question though. It tasted really fruity. Like, I'm not sure if I got the right thing. And they just laughed at me. They said, yes, we've been hearing that a lot. Nope, that was correct. I misread it because I thought it was a coconut cream cold brew.
Oh, okay.
But it's a cold brew. This thing called Hawaiian Island is a flavoring syrup that's very, very fruity. And then it does, have some coconut cold cream in it as well. So if you're like me and expecting the Bahama Brew to be a like coconut flavored cold brew, do yourself a favor. This is what I got to enjoy on my way back to the ship. I got a cold brew with coconut and cream in it. And it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. And it was delightful. It was so good and so refreshing.
But you liked the other thing, right?
The Bahama Brew? I would not order the Bahama Brew thing again.
But I would probably like it.
You'd like it because it didn't taste like coffee at all. And I was like, oh no, I need my caffeine. But yeah, it was enjoyable.
Did it have caffeine in it though?
It must have, because there was cold brew in it. I'm still just baffled that there was cold brew in it because I don't know how I couldn't taste like coffee's a very strong flavor.
It is.
So the fact that something else drowned, like the fruity flavor drowned the coffee flavor out totally is just wild to me. But anyways, I did try that. We're looking at food stuff. There's what was it? A pigeon pea and chicken rice dish.
The rice with marinated
It was
chicken,
delicious. Bohemian pigeon peas and rice. That's the type of pea. It's not like pigeon. You're not eating like
They got
the bird.
corn and some grilled broccoli that looks amazing.
There's like a curry that they have there. Really delicious.
So they
things.
dish it up for you. You like hand your plate to them and then they scoop it up for you.
For some of the things, yeah. So like
Ooh,
some of the things
some of these
where
little
it's
sides
further
would be
back
good.
and you can't reach the little scoops, they'll dish it up for you.
This is making me hungry.
But yeah, nope, it was very good. And we went and enjoyed our stuff back at the Serenity Bay or the adult only area. There was a baked mac and cheese that they had there that was very, very delicious. So it was like thicker with breadcrumbs on top.
Ooh.
Yeah, very yummy.
This food does look very good. And then, of course, the staples of like hot dogs and
Hamburger
and whatever that is.
It may have like a pulled pork probably.
Or like, pulled pork or like a sloppy Joe kind of thing going on. Potato salad, it looks like. Steaks grilled to order.
Yeah.
Was that
Steaks
free
grilled to
included?
order. Yep.
Did you have a steak?
Both of the Serenity Bay barbecues have the steaks grilled to
I'm
order.
surprised you love steak.
I wanted to try all the other stuff.
Sure.
And then they had live music performances happening at the buffet back there too. It was very fun.
That is super cool. This okay. To me, okay, so part of it is
Oh yeah, and there was a build your own like ice cream sundae bar too.
part of looking at the video for this is I think part of my draw to this newer island is that everything's new. So it looks
Sure.
cool, like new and fresh. But I'm not getting, and this is probably on purpose, I'm not getting a lot of Disney.
No, you don't. There isn't. Very
You do
much
on the
Disney.
other island, but this one is kind of, so the newer ships have gone more Disney.
Yes.
But the island has gone less Disney.
Yep.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so the island, it's kind of like Alani, how Alani really focuses on the history of like Hawaiian people and like the, and Hawaii and the culture there.
Sure.
Same thing with this. This focuses more on the people and the culture.
I wish Disney did more of this type of stuff because I feel like when Disney
Edutainment, I'm
when
telling
Disney
you.
does this, like Alani and this and everything, they do a really good job at it.
They do a really, really nice job. And same thing here. There was all sorts of different like carvings and stuff that were done by local artists. The fact that they invite locals in to celebrate Junkanoo and, let explain and educate and help us understand what Junkanoo is. Of course, Mickey and Minnie are present. They're part of it, but they're not the main focus.
Mm-hmm. This is cool looking. Like, and then,
The
of course, you got the
music
people from the
was
ship.
so fun too. Like you just couldn't help but like dance along to it. It was so fun. There was like people playing conch shells.
Oh, yeah.
There was you can see that there's like all sorts of different like trumpets and trombones and stuff like that. Lots of drums.
They have a lot of cool things for sale.
This was a little area that was all local artists. So all of the things that you're seeing there were done by local artists. And next door they had like the Disney shop, which had all of the like Disney branded items.
That's cool.
It was very neat. I think they did a really nice job. There was also a nature walk loop that you could go and do to kind of learn again more about the local flora and fauna. Vern and my mom went and did that. I decided to kind of just hang back and people watch some because it was getting more towards the like heat of the day. Plus I wanted to go explore and like see some of the other areas of the island. So I went and looked at the beaches. Some of the beaches were a little interesting because there was a like, what do you call that? Not a sandbar, but like a big drift of sand between where some of the chairs were and where the actual beach was.
Sure.
So I heard some people kind of complaining about that because, again, there wasn't as much, like the beach wasn't just this level expanding thing.
Sure.
So it was a little more difficult to get a spot on the beach. But the pink sand was really interesting because when you just looked at the beach, it just looked like this really gorgeous bright white sand. But it was when it got wet that you would then notice the pink hues kind of coming out.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it was cool.
I'm looking at, because this island, the Disney part of this is a larger island.
Yeah.
A pretty large. It's not like Castaway that like the whole island is Disney's. This is, they kind of have like a section of it that's theirs at the end. So where, I'm looking at a satellite view right now. Where does Disney's stuff end? Like this overlook, is that Disney or is it more contained to just kind of this area?
No, yeah, that's outside of it. So it's the pier and right.
Okay, so it's like over here.
Yep, all of
and
that
this.
stuff. Yep, it's just basically the tip there.
So the tram, you kind of take this and it goes over here.
Yep.
And then do you get to go to the lighthouse as well?
That big area up there is all like where the beaches and all the different, like the cultural center and all that stuff was.
Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, so okay, that's cool. Yeah, because I was having a hard time trying to figure out like looking at this because obviously the satellite images are like they're in the midst of construction. So a lot of stuff
they are.
a lot of stuff isn't like permanent or whatever. Because like even if you really notice it here, like this is all dirt and stuff being moved around. They built the pier right away though.
Well, yeah, they had to get all the stuff there.
Can you go out to like the lighthouse?
Yeah, that was part of the little nature loop
cool
thing. So the other thing too is one of the things that you could do there, it was an additional charge to do this, but you could sign up and do different excursions on the island, and one of them was going into the like coral reef restoration that Disney is doing, which is part of why we've got that very long pier to get to and from the ship and the island, was to kind of they're trying to preserve and also restore coral reefs in
That's
the
really
area.
cool.
Very cool.
Hmm.
But yeah, so there's some conservation going on. I feel like a crazy person. I don't know why, but the island name's a little hard. Eelrethra is how you say the island.
Okay.
But it was so
that
fun.
Sounds like okay, yep.
But it was fun because like there was this really fun, as you're walking along your very long pier, they have like Disney songs about the island playing, and they were super catchy and like fun. I don't know. It was just a really good time. I really enjoyed it. But for me, it's hard to compare the two because it was two totally different experiences. One was more about learning and more about culture, and the other one was more about just like Disney and relaxation.
Sure.
So it's hard to compare.
This is fascinating. So just kind of north up the beach is Princess's private island kind of thing. But they tender out to theirs.
So, and actually Carnival, that's a Carnival. I don't know if Carnival owns it. But yeah, so, because there was a Carnival ship that was kind of lingering near us, and we're like, what's going on? And then they parked next to us. We're like, what in the... And then we were joking, because this night was our Pirates night, so we're like, are they trying to stay near us so they can watch our fireworks?
Yeah, right.
But no, we then learned later that, oh no, their private island or whatever is right there. And yeah, they have to do their little...
They do
tenders
tendering,
back and forth.
Yeah, because all their like little tender boats and stuff come into their little... That's interesting. Yeah, because it's so weird because like I said, I look at like Castaway, and Castaway is like the whole island is Disney. Like they own the island, where here they just own a portion of this larger island that's kind of actually fairly expansive.
It's a very long, skinny little thing.
Yeah, but you could probably... I mean, it would probably take you... If you had a car and drove,
if you went
it would probably
from
take you
one
quite a while to
section.
go all the way up there.
Yeah. Now, doing Lookout a second time would be a little bit different because I don't think I'd spend the whole day doing, redoing and relearning all the Junkanoo stuff. I would 100% take part in the little Junkanoo parade celebration thing because that was just so much fun. But maybe we'd spend more time like doing beach things and kind of checking that stuff out. For sure doing the nature loop because again, that's just I'm not a big beach bum. I'm not one that like can just lay on the beach for hours and like have that be a perfect day. I like doing things. So I think that's what I enjoyed about Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point,
which is kind of an annoying name, but
being able to do stuff. Like there was more activities and things going on. And actually, if you go on a Disney cruise, you have what's called the Disney Navigator app that has kind of like your day's schedule of things. And there was tons. Like I don't remember looking at it when we were on Castaway because all this stuff was happening on the ship. But they had like a Disney Navigator like thing of events for all the different things happening on the island.
Is that in the same app?
Same app. So there were things that were happening at a different pavilion that we didn't even get to go and do that were kind of like more fun, maybe more Disney specific things like that you got to do with characters.
Sure.
Because they had like interactive games that you got to like play with the characters instead of just kind of like doing a meet and greet with and photos with characters. So that would be fun to do the next time that I would go. But yeah. Highly recommend, highly enjoy both of them. Again, I think it's hard for me to say 100% this one or 100% that one.
Sure.
They're both very enjoyable. You're not going to have a bad day at either one. Just be warned that Lookout is a little bit different because the boat is further away.
Yeah.
So it is harder to just kind of bounce back and forth like you can do Castaway. You can very easily do that, no problem. But yeah, super fun.
I noticed when James and I went on, not a Disney cruise, but we went on Royal Caribbean, and we actually went to their like little private island that's part of Haiti. That's what I was just going to check that if it was
it's like Coco Cay.
Key.
No, they say K.
K?
It's a perfect day at Coco Cay.
See, that's annoying.
Yeah, it's confusing.
But theirs is also, again, just like a little beach that's part of the greater Haiti, which our experience going there was pretty cool because they had like a little mountain roller coaster kind of thing you could do. It's all gravity, so you take the thing up to the top and you come down. They had the big zip lines that went across the thing that was kind of cool. We didn't do that, but you could have. And then there was just the nice lagoon, kind of like what both Disney islands have, of just like the nice, so you're not having the big waves come in. It's blue water, it's calm, it's more shallow. You can do that kind of stuff. So I do think that going on a cruise that stops at a island that is controlled by your cruise company is always pretty cool because, again, they give you a lot of the food and stuff. There is, at least with the one we went to that was not Disney, there was stuff you could buy that was like upsold, like food and stuff.
Oh, sure.
But Disney sounds like they
same thing with Disney because
except for alcohol, probably.
Yeah, that you could go to like the different, like the coffee shop at Lookout. They also had different like bars. Castaway didn't have any coffee shops specifically, and then both of them had all sorts of different excursion packages that you could book. So like at Castaway, there were people parasailing, and like I was watching as we're walking back to the ship because they were parasailing around the Disney ship, and I was like, what a cool thing to be able to do, to like parasail around your cruise ship and like get that bird's eye view of the place that you're making all these really fun memories. But anyways, so there's plenty of stuff to do. So if you're not a beach bum, you can do some of the excursions. The excursions, of course, do have an additional cost to them. So keep that in mind when you're planning your own trips. But yeah, highly recommend. It was tons and tons and tons of fun. We specifically chose this sailing because it stopped at both of the private islands, and I wanted to be able to experience both. I've been looking forward to experiencing Castaway for years and years and years, ever since I learned that there was a Disney cruise line and there was a Disney private island. Of course, I needed to go. And so then when they recently announced that they were going to have the second island, and then I spotted this sailing that went to both, it was a no-brainer. It was like a 2-for-1 for me. And then it was just a bonus that I happened to get to experience Castaway prior on the Disney Treasure preview cruise.
See, I feel like a cruise with Disney that would go to both islands is like perfect, because when you're on these islands that are owned by the company, it's like an extension of the ship.
It is, yeah.
And so you get to get off the boat, which some people really like to do. I don't really care, but like it's nice to be able to get off the boat. But it's not like where you get off, like when you got off in Nassau, if you wanted to like eat,
yeah,
you had to pay.
I had to pay $11 for my Dole Whip.
Yeah.
Whereas if I was on the boat or on the private island, I could have all the soft serve to my heart's desire.
So I just wanted to mention that it was not Coco Cay that we went to. We went to Royal Caribbean's at Labadee, which is in Haiti. So it's this little thing at the end of the island or whatever, and that was a lot of fun. And I want to say like there's a public beach thing like just right around the corner or something, which is kind of funny. But yeah, so that was enjoyable. You make me now, hearing all this, you make me want to go to all. I mean, I wanted to go to the Disney Islands anyway, but now you're making me want to book a trip that will go to both of them. Yeah. And I want to say in fact, I think this year's transatlantic is not stopping at both, but it is.
It stops at Castaway.
Yeah, and so I'm like, oh, that's a cool one. That would be so cool, but we can't do it this year because we have an exchange student. It doesn't work out, but maybe in the future.
Maybe.
I hope so. So hopefully our listeners liked hearing about your experience. Was there anything else from your trip that you did not talk about?
Nothing that comes to mind.
Awesome.
Welcome back to Trivia Land, Chef. My name Raymond, and I hope them answers are bigger and better than this here back porch I got attached to me. Don't you know, Evangeline and I wish y'all the best of luck.
Well, welcome back to Trivia Land. Teresa, I'm glad you had such a good time on the islands as well as the cruise ship. Someday, Tag will make it to a private island, I'm sure.
Ooh, look at that.
Well, you weren't up here when we were
Oh, yeah,
talking
you
about
missed
cruise
this
stuff
part.
earlier. That she didn't give me a pin because she's like, the whole reason that you were doing the pins is because so you could go on each of the ships. So there you go.
It's true. It's true.
He was, I don't know, real upset or faux upset.
Faux offended.
That I didn't get him when I'm like, I thought I was doing you a favor. Now you have an excuse to go on the ship yourself.
Yeah.
Well, James liked the Disney cruise. So.
I did. And as you heard last week, I'm excited to go on the Disney-centric shoots. So we'll get there sometime. But for now,
let me go look at DisneyCruise.com.
But for now, we're safely on land. In Trivia Land. The best land, obviously. And I've got 4 questions to give you the answers to. So the first one I asked is, where in the park can you find a nod to the year 1764? Thanks to Jacob B. for helping this one. You two talked about this magical paved-in or blocked-in archway, maybe of some sort, which is actually correct. It is a small archway, perhaps at some point imagined to be a crypt entrance. And there's a lot of stories and speculations and rumors about what it was going to be. Maybe a walk through to Tom Sawyer Island, maybe hosting an arcade or other pirate-themed treasure and things along the way. A saloon was something I saw in the speculation as well. It is glorious of an idea, but just the remnants left, like you two wisely pointed out.
Woo! Good job, us.
There we go.
Question number 2.
Good start.
Which attraction in Disneyland has a reference to the former Skyway attraction that closed in the mid-90s? You both told me the Matterhorn. The obvious answer is the right answer. Just like you got to, Teresa, you can still spot one of the buckets.
Good job, Teresa. You saved us. You saved us on that one.
Our overthinking. We thought it was going to be so much more complicated.
And here we are, that it was just fine. All right. Question number 3 from Ayla T. What year did Starbucks open in the Disneyland Resort and where? Fun fact, as far as my research goes, Starbucks actually opened their first store in 2009 in Disneyland Paris.
Oh.
Okay.
So we're a little behind. But
I was going to say, but that wasn't the answer to this question.
That was not. That was just extra information for you all. The first store in Disneyland came in 2012, and it is the Disney California Adventure location.
Look at
Tag
that. Good
almost
job.
right on with
At
that.
Fiddler, Pfeiffer, and Practical, I just was 1 year off.
You were.
So are you
giving you
giving me
half
like
point.
half point for that?
I'm giving you full points for
Okay.
being a year off. That is like within range and everything.
Yeah.
And going out on a limb for it. Pretty great on that one.
I just had a feeling. I mean, I almost second guessed myself and almost went with a downtown Disney location, but then I was like, I'm almost certain there was not Starbucks in DCA before that. So, and I had a feeling it was probably in DCA as like their little pilot program before it ended up on Main Street. Do you have the answer to when it was added to the Market House?
I don't have that one. I haven't been able to find that date.
Teresa has her handy Disneyland encyclopedia here that we can probably look up and see when it became. If we look up the Market House, we could probably figure it out.
Perfect. Yeah, because I know the Starbucks near the Grand California opened just a little after 2014, or midway through that year, I believe is what it was.
Interesting.
So not too far off. That was a big one. Big one because when that one opened, it wasn't a Disney-operated store, unlike the ones inside the parks. So,
2013, September 25th, 2013.
Okay, so a little bit, not too much longer.
About a year and a half after. Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, no,
See, that encyclopedia really
It's handy.
comes in handy.
It is handy.
Comes up with some good details. All right, final question for you. True or false? Outside the Adventureland Bazaar, you can find a small carving of Abu from Aladdin, a playful nod to the bazaar scene in the film. You both said false. I thought I'd get you. Every other true or false I've asked has been true.
You think we remember the answer to your true and false question?
No, but it's like, where would I come up with something so good as a bazaar scene with Abu? I felt confident you would consider this one. But man, you did not.
James got mad at me because he was working on trivia one day, and out of habit, I just like glance at his screen. And he's like, "Stop looking at my screen while I'm trying to do trivia."
Yeah, cheater.
I said, James, you know that like 2 minutes from now, whatever I would have read on your screen is going to fall right out of my head, right? And he
It's
goes,
true.
"Yes." And I go, "Then I don't know why you're getting so upset about it."
Just got to be sure.
Maybe that one thing is going to stick.
Of all the things to stick.
It's risky. We can't have that chance. We are all about integrity here in Trivia Land.
There you
Sure.
go.
It's very important. We have a reputation. Some listeners submitted a question and told us we are the best thing about this podcast and we should be 30 minutes long. So high praise.
Well, maybe we need to have a spin-off podcast that you and Vern can just trivia it up all the time.
We'll just ask you 2 questions all the time. Ooh.
What are you signing us up for?
If people knew how long it takes to do a trivia segment, you guys get the edited, like with all of our thinking cut out, because sometimes it can take quite a while.
It takes a while.
Yeah. And the joy of this is just how many questions we've already gone through, too. Mm-hmm. And the fact that we keep finding more and the listeners keep sending us more is absolutely incredible.
I think it's also wild that we will get repeats and we know that it's a repeat, but not necessarily remember what the answer was.
Oh, definitely not remember the answer. What do you mean not necessarily?
Yeah. Sometimes we remember, but
sure. I remember that the question was asked because I'm like, I remember we answered this, and that's about it.
Yep, that sounds exactly right. So listeners, if you've got some more questions for us, they're fun to ask. Help us out. Get us some good questions, and maybe we'll stump TNT in future weeks and not give Tag a perfect week after he yelled at his radio. Just a thought. You can send producer Vern and I trivia. Our place to do that is on the website, dlweekly.net/trivia.
Well, we will be back next week with more Disneyland news and information.
Until then, go out and enjoy the parks.
And a special thank you to Sidel for editing the podcast.
Please remain seated until the podcast comes to a complete stop and the doors have opened. Then collect your belongings, watch your head, and step carefully from the episode. On behalf of all of our crew, thanks for traveling with us, and we hope you have a happy and memorable visit here at DL Weekly.